This video is going to go over some notes based on my grading of the audience analysis assignment. These notes are specifically geared towards helping your next assignment and then all subsequent assignments be a little bit stronger so you can understand business writing just a little bit better. So the first note, what I noticed when you guys talked about the YouTube videos is that most of you relied on summary and reporting. Here's what happened instead of analysis. When you go into analysis, and what you really want to do with academic writing and business writing is you need to tell your reader, your audience, why what you're saying is important. So not just supporting it with the detail from the video, but then here's what they should do with that information. Here's what they should understand from that information. Here's what they should get from reading your business writing. Nobody wants to read business writing to just tell them a bunch of facts. Here's what a computer system is. Okay, thanks. You need to tell them why you're telling them that particular information, and this is going to relate to something else, and this is where analysis comes in. So you want to take it a step further than summary and say, okay, here's what's going on, here's the proof that this is going on, here's why it matters, here's why it's important. Okay, so don't forget, when you write something, and this is true for your collaborative writing project as well as all subsequent projects, especially your major paper for this class, you need to analyze the information and tell the viewer, tell the reader, tell your audience why do they need to know this information and why do they need to know it in that format. Okay, the second note is a little bit more of a grammar-based note, but what I want to point out is when you use bulleted lists of information, this is going to be especially important for the collaborative writing project as well as any other lists that you happen to make in any of your documents, you need to use parallel development. Okay, so what's parallel development? So this means this first word that I'm pointing out right here needs to match in grammatical form in every single bullet point. So what I've done is I've used verbs. You don't have to use verbs, you can use nouns. Obviously, I'm sticking with verbs because I'm demonstrating parallel development. And then if it's hard to use an action verb, be is also a verb, and so it's something that you can use. So be sure to match. You need each of the beginning words in your bulleted list in a distinct list to be in the same grammatical form. So it's easiest and it's most efficient if they're all verbs or if they're all nouns. This is really, really important. You will big time be docked points on your collaborative presentation if your parallel development is not in key. If you have multiple distinct lists, they don't all need to be verbs. You can have verbs, noun, verbs. You can have verbs, noun, nouns, etc. As long as the distinct list, the complete list is in the same grammatical format, then you're okay. Yes, this is going to take significant amounts of rearranging in your paper to make it happen, but it's worth the effort. And from here forward, for the whole rest of your life, you need to do this. When you give presentations in any class or in any business setting, if your verbs are in, or I'm sorry, if your lists are in this particular format, they're going to be more effective to your audience because they can understand and make sense and connect the individual pieces of information simply based on grammatical form. So use parallel development. If you have any questions about that, or if you want me to look over a list, or you need help rearranging a sentence, send me a tweet. I'm more than happy to look it over for you and help you. Last one, which relates very heavily to the first one with analysis, is designing purpose. So when you get to that analysis piece and you report your information, you've supported your information, now you've told the reader why it's important, you need to also tell them why it's important in your paper in the purpose of this particular piece of design. And when I say design, I mean papers, reports, memos, emails, also designed work, PowerPoints, prezzies, infographics, etc. A reader or a viewer or your audience, they need to know not just what is it that they're supposed to know, what is the point, what is the analysis, but they also need to know what they're supposed to do with that and why they should read your presentation of that. So make sure that you also make design choices that communicate your purpose, and then you design purpose for your audience into your designed work. So in an introduction to a major report in business writing, it's not just here are the findings, here's what to do with them, here's the global impact of this, and here's what it means to this company. That's all really important, and it all needs to be in there, and all needs to be in there immediately. You can then, work through all of your individual examples because you've already designed the purpose. The same is true if you're creating a PowerPoint, you're creating a series of infographics, or you're creating a series of prezzies. for the collaborative writing project. As long as they know up front, here's why I should access each of these individual pieces, then it all comes together and they know how to use it. Okay, so the big takeaways from the audience analysis are you need to make sure to go towards analysis and not just summary. Take your information a step further. You need to design purpose and you need to communicate to your audience why they should watch this. And then it's really important that if you have a bulleted list or you have a numbered list, you use parallel development. You've got to use the same grammatical format for each of the words in a distinct list. If you have any questions about any of this, feel free to send me a tweet. I'll see you guys online.